Hey everyone, Graz here from the GKBC. I am doing a late night February TBR. Last month in January, I just, by a whisker, missed my 25 book challenge. So, I mean, I was close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. So in February, I'm going to try it again with 3 less days. I'm going to try 25 books again. We'll see. It's not a challenge, so if I don't make it this time, it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to, this is going to go fast and furious. I'm going to show you the book, tell you what category it sits in, either 12, 12, 12, and then the subcategory for that, or the 1975 books, or I've got 4 books at the end that are, you know, if I have time, challenge to get to that 25. So there's that. And if any of these books sound interesting to any of you, or you've already read them, well, let me know. Let's have a conversation. I'm always happy to talk to people in the comments, you know. So let's get into it. First up is the graphic novel for February, which I've already read because I'm doing this in the wee hours of the night after February 5th. So I've already read a bit. But it is Pyongyang by Guy Delisle, A Journey in North Korea. So that's the graphic novel. The artwork is pretty, you know, basic, but that's already been read, so I'm gonna probably talk about that at some point because it's on my list of the top 100 graphic novels of all time. For the Bodice Ripper, I have Broken Days by Anne Rinaldi. Not all wounds are healed by time. I haven't started that yet. I'm going to probably, you know, dip into this tonight. Just to, you know, maybe get a little bit of a head start on a few more books. Because my brick, 500 pages plus, is The Girl Who Played with Fire, Book 2 of the Millennium Trilogy, or whatever it is, by Stag Larson. This is, I'm already on page through 410 on this. So, there's that sound. I love it. This is my brick. I'm going to try and do a big portion of this tonight. I read late into the night. So, and then Merlin is being a scoundrel tonight. So, if you hear him, a cat, that's him. He hasn't made a single sound all day. We turn on record. Bump into the camera. I mean, just go down the hall for a minute. Okay, Miller. Thristry and Thuppence. Did that make any sense to anybody? No? Okay, so how about mystery, thriller, and suspense is The Street Lawyer by John Grisham. No idea what this is about, but Street Lawyer by John Grisham. Just put all these right here, I suppose. Ghosts this month is The Third Hotel by Laura Vandenberg. It's kind of a short one. Looks like it might have some illustrations, but The Third Hotel. I think that's my ghost book of the month. I think it is, yeah. For the hard case crime series, I am on book 2, which is Fade to Blonde by Max Phillips. I wonder what she's up to. Probably something she shouldn't be. She was a little taste of heaven and a one-way ticket to hell. So that's that. For Dean Koontz, which is my first Dean Koontz book, I have his first published book, which was actually harder to get because it's an ace double science fiction book from 1968, and it's a little bit on the rare side, so it cost a little bit more. But it is Star Quest by Dean R. Koontz. And that's only half of a book because the other side, the ace double part, is Doom of the Green Planet by Emil Pataja. I'm not reading this. I'm only going to read Star Quest because it's a Dean Koontz book. On this subcategory of my 12-12-12 books, I was going to do Mary Higgins Clark, then Dean Koontz, then Mary Higgins Clark, then Dean Koontz, and so on for the year. But I read a Mary Higgins Clark book in January, and I absolutely hated it. It was awful. It was very formulaic, and I can't see me wanting to read 5 more of those this year. So I asked my good friends Bart at Book Rising with Bart J. Gilbertson and Tad at Tad Reads Books and Stuff to help me maybe come up with different authors that I could use. And I picked one from each of their suggestions. Bart suggested Catherine Neville, which we'll get to that next month. And then the other author I'm going to use, because I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, is Sidney Sheldon. So, but no more Mary Higgins Clark. I can't do it. So that's the Dean Koontz category, Star Quest. Westerns is The Shepherd of Guadalupe by Zane Grey. Now I bought these it's a box set of 4. So the next 4 months, February, March, April, May, will be Zane Grey books of this similar vein. The Shepherd of Guadalupe. The other 12-12-12 books I don't have physical copies of, so the picture will show up around me thanks to my amazing editor, the daughter of Graz. Werewolves is Wolf Gift by Anne Rice. Now, with Anne Rice, I've only read quite a few of her vampire books. Not sure what that series is called. It's Chronicles, maybe? Vampire Chronicles or Lestat Chronicles? I don't know, but I've read most of those. So, I've never read one of her werewolf books. Or her witch books, for that matter. So, Wolf Gift will be fun. And then that's the werewolves. For vampires, it will be Carpathia by Matt Forbeck. I know nothing about the book or the author, so enjoy the picture wherever it may be. For science fiction, I will read A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. So that'll be fun. Anyway, that is my 12-12-12 pile for the month of February. Now I will tell you I guess it's going to be 9 1975 books. So, fun times. First I'll do the ones that I don't have, so that way I can finish with a bunch of physical copies. So first up will be, and these are no genre, they're just books that are published from 1975, which was the year I was born, and I'm trying to read all of the books that were either written in English language or translated to English language from that year before I turn 50, which will be 2025. So the first one from that bunch for February is Cry Macho by N. Richard Nash. Like I said, I don't really know what most of these books are going to be about, so there's that. The next one that I don't have a physical copy of is called The Computer Connection by Alfred Bester. And I'm kind of pausing a little bit here so you can, get a good look at the covers or whatever picture we come up with. Forever by Judy Blume. Now, I was supposed to read this in January, but for some reason Amazon led me astray and I got the wrong book by mistake, and I read one of the worst books of my entire life. It was called Forever by Diane M.J. Johnson. I feel that that author needs to take a course on how to write books, creative writing, character development, dialogue. People don't talk like they just don't talk like that. I mean, it was like wooden androids kind of conversing with each other. So I read that by accident in January. So in this month, I'm going to read the book I was supposed to read, which is Forever by Judy Blume, which apparently was a controversial book about losing your virginity or something. The next book from there is Hedora, I don't know, by Gail Jones. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, let me know, or I will just go on mangling it, which I'm fine with. And then the last one that I don't have, but I'm sure most of you who actually watch my videos have heard of, is by Edwin Torres, and it is a little book that got turned into maybe a kind of a famous movie called Carlito's Way. Oh yeah. I think that's one of the books this month that I'm most excited to read. Otherwise, for 1975, we have Crocodile on the Sandbank by Elizabeth Peters. And it just says on the front, an Amelia Peabody mystery. So I'm not sure if this is like, it's obviously part of a series, but I'm not sure what book it is because they don't put that on the front. So there's that. Then we have The Cannibal, Keller by Nelson DeMille. Now this little baby looks really fascinating. Look how tiny that is. I could probably read that in a day. I mean it's less than 200 pages. So this was actually hard to find. I don't know, I'm not sure why, but it was a little more expensive. Like, I'm used to spending $4 to $5 for these books. Maybe 6 or 7, but this one was like 15. StarQuest was 20. So, but The Cannibal. If you hear that noise off to my right, it is our cat Mickey snoring loudly. He has what we call kitty apnea. So, yeah. Then we have, for 1975, by Lynn Carter. Now, it's called As the Green Star Rises. It is book 4. See, I like this. The 4th novel of the Green Star Saga. And I haven't read the first 3, so I'm jumping right in to something I'm probably not going to know much about. But it's fantasy, I'm guessing, with the fact that there's a city inside a forest and 2 half-naked ladies riding a giant bird-like thing. So I'm guessing it's fantasy, so it'll be easy to kind of catch on to what's going on. Because this might be an unpopular opinion, but fantasy is basically, read one, you read them all. Maybe not. I'm sure I'll get some flack back somewhere from that, but I'll figure it out. And the last book from 1975 was also hard to find in its original form. It's by Richard Matheson. The original title was called Bid Time Return. And those books were running $50 to $60. I was thinking I might have to skip that. But then I did some digging, and I found out that it was re-released as Somewhere in Time. Which actually really made me excited because I'm not sure if the book is held there, but this got turned into a movie called Somewhere in Time with the original Superman, the original movie Superman, Christopher Reeves, and Jane Seymour. And it was actually filmed at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, which is one of Michigan's big tourist attractions. So that's pretty exciting. another movie I get to watch when I'm done reading it. But that's the last book for 1975. Now the 4 challenge books that I have, I will tell them to you in descending order of page count. So first up, the daughter, 2 of these are ones the daughter wanted me to read. One is one I want to read, and then one is one my mom wants me to try out. The first one from the daughter is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I'm kind of thinking that this book is one of those popular books that I try to avoid, but I'm going to give it a roll. And then the book that I want to read for this month is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And I've heard mixed reviews, but AJ and I read the Wayward
Pines, yes.
Yeah, the Wayward Pines trilogy, and we were both really impressed with that. So I thought, well, let's give the guy another try. So Dark Matter it is. And then the other book that the daughter wanted me to read, she thought it would be fun if I did 2 graphic novels this month. So she gave me a Warrior Cat graphic novel called Ravenpaw's Path by Aaron Hunter. And this thing is actually quite heavy because it's dense, but it's a graphic novel. I mean, yeah, it's 260 pages, but I could probably I'm going to read this in about, I don't know, max an hour. So that's going to be nice. And then the book my mom wanted me to read, she said she's had it for a long time. This is her original copy of the paperback. I don't know if it's a first print. I'll check when I bring it on screen. But for some reason, she's never read it. And I think a lot of people have heard of this book. So I'm kind of really looking forward to giving it a roll. It is The Story of O by Pauline Riage. And there's the cover. And let's see if it's an original copy. Translated from the French by Sabine D'Estri. So that's kind of neat. Published in 1965. Originally published in 1954. So this is actually the first English printing of The Story of O. And this is hers. I don't know why she's never read it, but I'm going to read it and she wants my opinion. Now, when I talk about these, I'll get it more in depth on what they're all about and whatnot. But that is the books for February that I've chosen. On the 1975 thing, I'm trying to just go alphabetical as I can afford them. Some of them, like I said, The Cannibal and Bid Time Return kind of threw me for a loop. But if I have time, 28 days, I doubt it. I've not read much this month yet. Like I said, I finished Pyongyang. I'm 410 pages into The Girl Who Played with Fire, and I did read the last 90 to 100 pages of Patriot Games, so from last month. But if I have time, then I will pick this up and read at least one of these stories. Edgar Allan Poe, Complete Tales and Poems. These are supposed to be if I get bored books, but I'm giving myself such huge lists. I'm very that these will be things that I add in as I can. Now, the reason I'm giving myself these huge lists is because I have a hard time focusing. I've had more head injuries than you would probably believe in my life. Car accidents and falls, and I worked in a lot of factories, and I wasn't exactly safe while doing so. So I have a hard time focusing for a long time. So reading helps that. But what also helps it is organizing what I'm going to read. I'm not a mood reader at all. I'm not. I just pick up the next book and I plow through it. Call Mr. Plow. So it helps me to stay organized, and so that means that I might over schedule myself on things like last month, just short, but we'll see if I can do the same thing in 3 less days. And see, I even write up a list with each book, page number, the author, so I can tell you people the page count that I need to have each day on average to make this. And then they're in order. I wrote on order here how I want to read them. So I guess I do that. But so that's the TBR for February. When we get up, I mean, technically it is after 1 a.m., so it's technically the daughter's birthday. So when we get up, that's what we're going to be doing today. But I promised a special. We just don't know what to do yet. So we're gonna come up with some sort of special surrounding the number 15, because that's how old she is today. So like I said at the beginning, if any of these books interest you, if you want to see a review from any of them, if you've read any of them, let me know all of that. If you want to hear about them, if you want me to do a review, if you want me to talk about them more, if you've read it and you either like it or hate it, tell me why. No spoilers yet, though, please. I know I make spoilery reviews, but you have a chance to back out. So, that's the TBR for February. Watch out for the special today. And until tomorrow, what I want you to do is keep flipping the pages so that you can read more.